So this is Pokemon Horizons episode 47, and as you can imagine, a lot has been said within 47 weeks about this show. I think I've gotten over that. Outside of like the side content, I think this is the best that we've gotten in Pokemon in like 10 years, to be 100% honest. Like, although I did enjoy moments of journeys, there was moments that I didn't enjoy. Sun and Moon, I did not like at all. I didn't like any of really a Sun and Moon. I thought, again, some moments in Sun and Moon were okay, but I didn't like the art. I didn't like the way Ash was depicted. A lot of stuff, right? So I won't go into all of that because honestly, I've kind of talked about all of that. Again, like I said, as you can imagine, 47 weeks we've been covering this show. It's been on for about a year. And a lot has been said about this show already. And it's not necessarily 47 weeks. It's more like 50 something weeks, but there's been 47 episodes within that time because they've taken breaks and stuff like that. So we've been covering Horizons for about a year, and I absolutely love this show. And when I think about episode 47, the things I loved about this show or this episode was the growth again within Liko. And what I'm coming to realize, which I think is really cool, is the show is taking a little bit of a divergence from the game itself. And in this episode specifically, she goes to Cortondo Gym. She faces against Katie, and Katie only uses one Pokemon. So if you've played Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, when you go and you fight Katie at Cortondo Gym, she has 3 Pokemon, which were all featured when Liko and Roy and Dot, when they got to Cortondo. They were all featured here. But she has Teddiursa, Tarantula, Tarantula, and Nimble. So those are the 3 Pokemon that she has when you come, because she's the first gym leader. Technically, she's the first gym leader that you can face. Really, you can go to Artisan, you can go to a different gym. And they're going to Artisan next, which is like the Art Central. But you can make your way to a different few places, but technically you should come to here. And those are the 3 Pokemon that you should face. Well, how they've diverged from the game, which I think is completely okay, is a couple of different facets. First off, I'm extremely angry because when you go out on your journey in the Pokemon Scarlet and Violet game, you are attending the academy and you leave the academy to go and find your thing, and you leave as a representative of the academy. And because you leave as a representative of the academy, you're very limited in clothing, and you're really just meant to go and wear your uniform kind of everywhere. And a lot of the people that you come across around the world are all wearing their uniform because they're also part of the same course. Well, in the anime, what they decided to do is they said, okay, you're part of the Terastallization course, but you don't have to wear your uniform or anything. So immediately, Liko, Roy, and Dot all have their own swag, which I think is completely cool. But again, I'm salty because if you played the game, you know that you're limited to uniform options. So first off, I'm salty there. Where it diverges once again is instead of coming and facing the gym leader and earning the bug badge or, whatever she ends, I think she gives you a bug badge. Instead of getting the bug badge, you get like a bug stamp, like a digital stamp. And the purpose of the course is to terastallize with your Pokemon. And even though that there's 2 things. One, Liko only faced Teddiursa as opposed to facing all 3 of her Pokemon. Unlike traditional gym battles, which, there are gym battles to where you only face, 1 Pokemon. So it diverged from the path there. It diverged once again where she technically lost the battle, but she won the purpose of the battle, which was terastallizing her Pokemon. And I don't know how I feel about that. It's like I would much rather something that's happened in the past with Ash where he's lost, had to kind of recenter and then come back. But again, for the purpose of the course, the Terastallization course, it's to terastallize. So essentially, she's completed her mission. Now, Dot has to go complete hers. Roy has to go complete his. It makes sense there. I kind of wish it was more battle oriented, but this one was just more terastallization oriented. So that's kind of the push and pull that I have there. Now, Liko, going all the way full circle, Liko terastallizing her 𝐜𝐴𝐴𝐵𝐿𝐴, top tier, top notch. Loved every single moment of that. I thought it was absolutely incredible. I loved watching her be able to I loved watching her be able to terastallize her 𝐜𝐴𝐴𝐵𝐿𝐴. And she did it at a moment, and her and 𝐜𝐴𝐴𝐵𝐿𝐴 were perfectly synced, and Liko looks so cool terastallizing. And that's one thing I wanted to say is the way that the anime depicts terastallization is just really, really cool stuff. And it gets me to think back to my playthrough, multiple playthroughs of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, and just think of how, like, interesting it was, you know, and how terastallization is really cool, but it's not my favorite. Like, I prefer Gigantamaxing or Mega Evolutions, which Megas are coming back. You know, I think that's a much cooler thing, but terastallization was still a cool thing, and I did utilize it quite a bit. Just because a lot of times, like, oh, well, I can terastallize. I might as well terastallize, you know? But the anime gives it more of that gravitas. And because it gives it more of gravitas, I have to selfishly admit that I really wish the anime predated the Scarlet and Violet games. Like, even though how cool it was for you to be able to do that in the games, if it could have been launching alongside of it or before it, I think everybody would love terastallization even more than what we did, or, you know, did or did it in the game. Even when I think about Japan, Scarlet and Violet came out in November, and in Japan, the anime started in April of last year. So even then, there was 5 or 6 months between you playing the game and the anime starting. Now, for us over here in the West, there was like a year and 4 months, a year and five months, you know, because the anime just started. Well, it just started last month in the West, and then if you were, it started in December. At the very earliest, you could have watched this by semi-legal means December of last year. So that's kind of the thing there. But regardless, big focus back. Like seeing Katie and how she acted this episode. Love seeing how she drove out Sandwich, or, you know, Sansan or whatever her name is, from the Explorers. She's a little too, I don't really like her as a character very much, but I liked Katie a lot. I like seeing Murdoch, you know, like all of the people in the Volticurs had to go out, and they're working right now as the ship gets corrected. So I like how seeing, like, you know, Murdoch had to come here and had to work part-time under Katie as a patissier, or a patissier, what do you call it? Like, you know, he's just an employee. He's he's a part-time worker there. And I like seeing him and him interacting. I love how he loves Dot so much, and I like how he was acting with Liko. I like how Liko and 𝐜𝐴𝐵𝐿𝐴 went through and they made their cake. I thought it was all really, really adorable. But I think the main thing here, Liko terastallizing with 𝐜𝐴𝐵𝐿𝐴 was freaking awesome. So overall, episode, really, really good. Really enjoyed it. Another great week of Pokemon. Lots of takeaways here. And next up is Roy, and Roy's going to be heading towards Artisan, which they've had to before, and he's going to go face the gym leader there. Gym leader there, his name is Bracius, and we'll see who he ends up fighting, because Bracius has Smoliv, Petlo, and he has a Sudowoodo. I imagine Sudowoodo is his main, you know, so we'll see on if he fights that, you know, or not, but he's up next. Will Fuecoco evolve? Will they just terastallize only? Imagine if he evolved and terastallized. That'd be cool. All right, let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments down below, and I'll see you next week, my friends. Peace out, trainer.